The podcast you are about to listen to is one of the many podcasts that is part of the College Huddle, the largest fan-led college sports podcast community on the internet. Fan-made, fan-driven, and fan-fueled. The College Huddle.
Whoa, he has trouble with the snap, and the ball is free!
Okay, next question.
I'm a horse football coach right now.
You know, it got shoved it got shoved, right?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Spartan Savants podcast, the official representative for the College Huddle of your 2025 Big Ten champions, the Michigan State Spartans. With the Michigan loss this evening, we over here in Spartan Land are celebrating as Michigan State clinches its 11th Big Ten title under Tom Izzo in 30 years. Just an amazing night, an amazing feeling, really. I think tomorrow night will be even better when we secure the sole championship with a win over Iowa. But we were talking about it. This is our birthright. We deserve this, back on top. And damn, it feels good. And I'm so happy to be on the air to share it with you too. Nikki, talk to me, baby.
Oh man, am I feeling a little vindicated from when I back in January.
Called this one early.
I actually cracked open the champagne of beers, the light version of it, a Miller Lite.
Beautiful.
So not actually the champagne of beers. But I mean, everything tastes like champagne when you're a champion, baby.
That's right. That's right. Back on top. Travis, what about you?
It's good to be king, baby. That's all I feel.
It is.
It's awesome. Awesome. Finally. Been way too long. Way too damn long.
Yes, it has. It has. Obviously a little sweeter that a Michigan loss is the one that seals the deal. It'll be even sweeter when we beat them on Sunday on senior day, but you just have to tip your cap to this team. Just a really special season, I think, from start to finish. From what we've gotten from the players to the coaching job that Izzo's done. I mean, the last 5 games have been maybe the best basketball I've seen them play in a long time. I mean, you're talking about 4 quad one teams. 4 of them were ranked in the top 20, and everyone thought this was going to be the toughest stretch, and it was. And we just rattled off win after win after win. Really, really awesome. I'm just really happy with this team.
Yeah. So much for that. They haven't played anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, you don't want to play us.
Yeah. Do you think maybe some of the reason why those teams early on had a lot of losses was because they played us?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Had to deal with a little bit of the classic early February slide, but that's just honestly, we have to be ready for that almost every year, I think.
Never
good
are.
or bad. Yeah.
Never ready.
Always expected, never ready.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So Michigan State obviously locks in at least a share of the Big Ten title, worst case scenario. If they were to lose the next 2 games, which I don't think they will, knock on wood. A win versus Iowa tomorrow would clinch the sole championship. We talked a little bit about this, and I mentioned it briefly. That's their 11th championship, 11th Big Ten championship under Tom Izzo in his 30 years. And we were just talking before the show. That's 36% of the time. I think you said, Nikki, 30. That's a 36% Big Ten championship rate. More than once every 3 years, he's bringing home a Big Ten banner. And if that doesn't impress you, then I'm not sure what does.
Yeah. If you're not impressed, I can't help you.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like I've had people like I was arguing. I mean, this person happened to be a Michigan fan, so grain of salt here. But I was talking with somebody a couple of years ago about the basketball program, whatever, and he referred to Tom Izzo as Mike Izzo, and I was like, dude, you're a moron. And he goes, well, that's how irrelevant he is. I'm like, you're stupid. You're like, there's no arguing with you. You're just stupid. That's so. that's someone that's not obviously not going to understand this, but
Yeah.
we ride.
Mike
Yeah.
is. I mean,
Mike is so. That's great.
Leopold.
Oh my gosh.
Do you guys think?
I
Go ahead. Sorry, Trev.
No, I was just gonna say I stopped acknowledging that person's sports opinions after that.
Yeah, that'll do it. That's pretty much all you need to hear. Do you guys think Tom Izzo, Big Ten Coach of the Year?
I mean, we might be a little biased, but yeah.
Unless we lose out, I think we could be good on that.
Yeah, I think the only way Dusty May gets it is if they somehow get a share. But
Yeah.
I still think Izzo, we lost 4 starters from last year's team, and albeit AJ Hogard and Matty Sissoko weren't exactly, world beaters, but to come back and have the performance this year, I think the only other names you could really mention is Painter. Guard has had a good year. Wisconsin's been pretty impressive. We'll get to them in a minute, but trying to be as unbiased as possible. I think it's pretty clear.
Yeah, you can't really see the argument for too many people this year.
Right. Yeah.
It's tough. It's tough when arguing for the other coaches when you just keep seeing them lose against your team.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
That's a great point.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this 5-game stretch, Michigan State's the only team in the country to have 5. Were the only team or one of the only teams that have 5 consecutive quad 1 wins? I
think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the other thing you're thinking of is we're one of 2 teams that have 10 quad 1 wins on the season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly
Auburn's
right.
the other one. So that tells you what kind of company we got there.
Yep. And so all of a sudden, I mean, this team is I feel like a 2 seed is pretty much locked in, and we'll get into the bracket science a little later, so I don't want to do too much into it, but I feel like that's as far as we can drop at this point. Seems like a little bit of an outside chance at a 1 seed. We would really need some help, but or a Big Ten
It'd be a
tournament.
tragedy if we were a 3. That would be ridiculous.
Yeah. I agree.
Would you rather be a 3 with Auburn in your? We can talk about it later.
Yeah, get to that later.
Good idea.
We don't want to dive too much into that now.
Yeah. So Wisconsin game Sunday. I mean, just another fantastic performance. I thought really, really back and forth game. Wisconsin. I don't want to be biased and give Michigan State too much credit. They do play very good defense against the 3. Wisconsin shot the 3 very poorly. I think they made that was like a Michigan State shooting night. Like early on, that was like 6 for 30 or something.
5 of 32.
Yeah, there you go.
5 of 32.
That's really bad.
15.6%.
Yeah, that was really bad. And they've been shooting the ball much better than that all year. So I think you got to give a little credit to Michigan State for their perimeter defense, but also you have to acknowledge that was not the best shooting night from Wisconsin. But Aikens, huge performance. Hopefully, if there ever was a time for him to truly break out, now would be that time. It's got to start somewhere. It's got to start somewhere. You got to start with one good game and go from there. But he looked confident. Like when he was shooting, like, man, it's like he doesn't typically look timid when he shoots, but it just looked different on Sunday. I thought, am I seeing things, or am I reading into it?
It looked like he was hunting his shot for once instead of just taking it in. It was like not even just the 3-pointers. That was the 2-pointers and the drives to the hoop just looked more aggressive, and he looked like he was more dialed into what he was doing.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, that's hunting is a good word. It looked aggressive in a good way. Mm-hmm. And then one thing I thought about Sunday is it really it was a perfect example of a game showing off this team's depth when a guy like Richardson has 2 fouls early and he goes to the bench. He's our go-to guy, and we didn't seem to lose much. And then that allows him to come back in the second half and not have to worry about fouls because we get down to 10 or 11 and he's still only at 2 because we were able to sit him for basically after he got a second foul for the rest of the first half. Mm-hmm. and he was able to play aggressive for the entire second half and make plays when we needed him to, which I just think perfectly perfectly encapsulates this year's
There you
team
go.
in one game. I mean, really just getting it done so many ways with so many different guys.
Yeah, I mean, I've made this point several times, but you look at the box score again, three guys in double figures, and then everybody else scored. Everybody who played scored.
Yep.
Not every team can say that. I mean, Fears had 1 point, but he still scored and still had 5 assists. So they had 11 assists between him and Richardson. So it was a very, very balanced game. And they've been playing that way all year, and that's what's made them impressive so year. And that's why they are Big Ten champs.
Yeah. Yeah. And Nikki, you always say it, those Cohen card dunks worth 6 points. And even Izzo said it after the game.
Yeah, I must have been listening.
He's our biggest fan, you know.
Could you imagine?
We'd have to have him on for that. Yeah.
In another game where the opponent didn't score for like the last 4.5 minutes.
Love it.
Our second half are just incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We outscore. I mean, I think we've outscored every opponent in the second half for like the last couple of weeks. So,
yeah.
And we're not outside the Maryland game, which was obviously awesome in a lot of ways because of that shot. I mean, we were up 9 with like 3 minutes left, so we should have won by a lot more. But we're winning these games by 9, 10. You know, they're not exactly outside of the one game coming down to the last couple possessions. I mean, they're winning pretty convincingly. Obviously, it helps when the other team doesn't score for the last 5 minutes.
Last time we were outscored in the second half was Indiana, by the way. So it's been since February 11th.
That was by like 1 point.
Oh, Jesus. Wow. That's incredible. Yeah, one thing I'm sick of hearing.
39-38 Indiana in the second half of that game.
I'm sick of hearing how untalented this team is.
I can tell. You've been chirping at people.
We're the Big Ten champions. Like, we don't have any players on the first or second Big Ten, all Big Ten team. And I'm sorry. If you're winning every game, the best player has to be on one of those teams.
I agree.
I do not understand the whole Michigan State doesn't have a star, but those same people will say, "Oh, also Jace Richardson's gone after this year because he's going to be a lottery pick."
Right? Yeah.
The only lottery,
if you're a lottery pick, you're a star.
Not a star.
Yeah. No, Jace Richardson is a star. He should be probably first team all Big Ten's a stretch. I mean, there's a lot of good players in the Big Ten. They have 18 teams now, but I mean, Big Ten Freshman of the Year, I would think.
That should be a lock.
Yeah.
It's like if you weren't on a preseason list, you're just never going to win an award, which is the most annoying thing.
Yeah.
It's going to be like Ace Bailey or whatever, or Dylan Harper.
Oh, those are going to be hard guys to beat.
Yeah.
Those guys are like projected top 5, both of them.
Yeah, that is true.
Forgot about them.
Yeah. Do you guys think Richardson's almost been too good? Like, are you like? No, I mean, like in a sense of like we're probably going to lose him. Like he's probably going to go to the draft. I mean, like the stock is rising. But the thing is, you'd rather have him. This is the
10 pick. Yeah.
This is the best chance they've had in a long time. That with the right team, they've got like you don't know what next year's going to bring, obviously, and I think that I'd rather have him exploding now and say, all right, we only had him for one season and he helped us get as far as wherever we go, then have the question mark, okay, we didn't get as far as we wanted to this year, but he wasn't as good, so he stayed. But you just don't know what you don't know next year if we're going to be any better, or you just don't know.
No, I obviously wanted to be this good, or else we just wouldn't have been that good. And wouldn't.
Yeah, but you get what I'm saying. Like he's probably gonna go to the draft. But the only thing with him, I guess, I kind of just like going back and forth with myself at this point. He doesn't have the pressure. It's not like Deontay Davis, where he doesn't have the pressure of I need to make money right away. Like he is getting paid by the school. His father is let's just say he's a former NBA player. There's probably not a lot of, he doesn't have to put his family in a home, provide for them. So maybe he stays. I don't know, but I just want more Chase Richardson.
The best way to not waste Chase Richardson is just win an Eddie this year.
Absolutely.
And then the entire team can leave. I don't care.
I agree. I'm with
you. Let's take your guesses this year. Let's have some fun.
I totally agree. Totally agree. Back to Wisconsin. Wisconsin getting a lot of talk for a 2 seed. I mean, that was not a slouch of a team that we beat on Sunday, and it was, again, I thought they played very well. Any other thoughts on Wisconsin? I know it kind of was a while ago. It feels like it was forever ago, but
we did a good job defensively, walking down their guys.
Yeah.
I mean, the freaking Tanji came in averaging 19 a game, and we held him to 11. That's great.
Blackwell,
I mean,
locked him down pretty well.
Crowell only made 4 shots. Usually, I mean, he eats us alive pretty good. Usually,
yeah.
So their bench didn't do much. I saw it when we were watching the Maryland and Michigan game earlier. They were talking about Maryland's first bench points since mid-January or something like that. I was like, what the hell? How do you win games that way? Yeah,
we get those in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah. We have 2 starting lineups. How the hell do you not have a bench?
Yeah. Who I think been playing very well lately, and it might not necessarily show in the box score. First of all, 2 players, but the first one I was thinking of was Frankie Fiddler. I think he looks he's taking a little more charge out there, like a lot of guys being a little more aggressive. Looks a little more confident. Still would like to see him shoot the 3 better, but he does a nice job getting the ball to the basket, making something happen.
Leadership's been very good lately.
Yeah,
very good. Yeah.
And Kohler has been a monster.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. How have we not talked about 16 rebounds from Jackson Kohler?
I mean,
it's absurd.
I mean, the second chance, the offensive rebounding this year, I think, has just been awesome.
Yeah. But Kohler, I mean, on both ends of the floor has been awesome this year. And he's in we talked about this earlier in the season. He's in such better shape now. You can see it on the floor. Yeah, he's moving so much better, and it helps so much.
Yeah, I just wish footwork that we always heard about is finally, you can finally see it.
Yeah. I just wish a couple more of those threes would have gone down on Saturday or Sunday.
That would have been nice.
Nice. There were a few where we were just like, okay, this is where it explodes, and it just didn't happen. But
he's saving them. Yep.
I'd rather have those in the tourney.
Yeah.
He's in a zone right now too. Like, he just is playing with this killer instinct that I think you have to have as a big man. I mean, if there's a loose ball, he's going after it. If there's a rebound, he is fighting for it. I just wish Xavier Booker had a little bit more of that in him.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's what he's missing. But Kohler
can pass it on. Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, if he just gave Xavier Booker 10% of what he has, that'd be sweet.
Kohler's a crazy. Yeah, he's a rabid dog lately.
Mm-hmm. Kohler's a psychopath. Just put it out there.
Yeah.
Psychotic.
And you know what? Honestly, all 3 of the big men, I got to tip the cap to them. You know what? There's times we've been pretty hard on the big men. Not as much this year, but Zapala's been great. And you know what? Carson Cooper, it gives you, when he's in, he gives you good minutes. He might not always be the flashiest, and he might do something really dumb every now and then or do something sloppy. But, man, when he is in, he gives you good minutes. He plays hard. And he's had a lot of, dunks and, big moments lately. Yeah.
He plays great defense too. I mean, last year he was our best defensive big. He was a top 10 defender in the Big Ten. And you got to remember, he was a 0-star recruit.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen. Yeah. He's been real good.
We did no idea what we were going to get from him. We were kind of okay, whatever.
No. We were like, where the hell is Longwood?
Yeah. I think he started almost every game.
I can tell you.
Yeah, I think I mean,
nice, Nikki. And a baby. Oh my gosh, that's good. Moving on. Iowa tomorrow night. It's in Iowa. So anytime you're going on the road in the Big Ten, Always tough. In Iowa, they've given us fits when they've had in their good years and their down years. They've always that Fran McCaffrey always seems to have our number, at least to make the game close. But
At least they don't have one of his kids this year.
And they're like, I was just looking at the standings. They're not going to make the Big Ten tournament. They're in that relegation zone. They're like third to last.
They're 15 and 14. Penn State and Washington are the only ones behind them.
That's tough.
They're tied with USC. They're tied with USC and right behind Nebraska and Northwestern. So
yeah,
how many are missing again?
4 teams don't get to go.
Okay, so it's a 14 team bracket now.
Right.
So that would mean that as of right now, USC, Iowa, Penn State, and Washington are out.
That's tough. That sucks so bad to not make your own conference tournament.
Oh yeah, could you imagine? Well, I mean, we've had that happen in baseball, so I can see it. But
yeah. I mean, Michigan is just not a great place for baseball.
No. I mean,
although University of Michigan seems to do pretty well, unfortunately.
Yeah. I think we've made the baseball tournament.
Is there any part of you guys that's a little happy that the 2 of the teams that aren't going to make it are 2 of the new teams, USC and Washington? Do you guys kind of like a natural dislike for those teams?
I don't really care.
USC a little more than Washington, but I don't care that much. Yeah,
they're not OG Big Ten teams. Like they're just. I don't know. Like
I would care more in football if this was a thing, but yeah,
I kind of felt that way about Maryland and Rutgers, but now I just consider them part of the Big Ten. Maryland MSU is like a great basketball game usually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I don't I guess it's kind of nice saying they're not going to walk into the Big Ten and win like how Oregon did this year in football. Yeah. The thing is, I also just hate every Big Ten school.
Yeah, so that's fair.
But,
we have 17 public enemy number ones.
It's not me saying I like those other teams. It's just when I think of every Big Ten team that's not us, I just cringe. I'm like, oh no.
That's so true. Yeah. That's so true.
There's a gag reflex that comes.
Yeah. Except when they're playing Michigan, then they're my second favorite team.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I even have the shirt to prove it.
That's right. Yeah, I mean Iowa's just this is not their best team. Let's just see.
No, they got a couple 16-point scorers.
We got Owen Freeman.
They got a guy named Dix,
which is good. He's been out for the rest of the season. Peyton Sanford. He's lit us up before.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Josh Dix.
Yeah. Coke.
Yeah.
That's no good Nicky names, as I would like to say. A couple guys that are averaging over 14 points, 16 points, 16 points. They're top 3 scorers.
They have the worst 3-point defense in the league, which could be good for confidence for us. We can just let it rip.
Yeah, their defense must be a problem because they're averaging 82 points a game.
Yeah,
which is nothing to scoff at.
If I remember correctly, Owen Freeman was a really highly rated high school recruit too.
Okay,
he's out.
Their leading scorer. Is he?
He's injured for the rest of the season.
I'm just looking at the scoring.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just looking at the scoring that's on there. Yeah.
The spread a little closer than you would think. Michigan State -7.5. So we can add that to the end of the show.
It makes sense on the road.
I think we have to remember the last time we played at Iowa.
We don't play well at Iowa.
We were up 13 with 93 seconds left.
Yeah, that's when I texted everyone and said, "Nice win."
That, I will never really not be scared playing Iowa ever since then.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm just kind of forever broken with that one.
Yeah, that's fair.
Stop.
Yeah, that's fair. Then the Spartans will head back to East Lansing after they take care of Iowa, and they will take on the dastardly folks from Ann Arbor. What a dump. On senior day at the Breslin Center. Hopefully they take care of business tomorrow. And no pressure Sunday. It can almost be a celebration. I mean, we could just rip into them on senior day. Really just show them who the kings of the Big Ten are. Obviously, we took care of the business in Ann Arbor. Kind of know what Michigan's all about at this point. Streaky, really sloppy right now. Tons of turnovers. I think they had at least 14 tonight. The free throw shooting has been terrible for them. They've lost a couple in a row now. In a bit of a slide, I would say, at the wrong time of the year. But definitely some talent on that team. Obviously, Golden and Wolf. I mean, anytime they're in the game, scary. But you guys like our chances to take care of business.
Yeah, you can't teach 7-footers to that point, but yeah, he's
right.
I mean, we took care of him. The one I was scared about was on the road. We took care of him pretty easily on the road.
Yeah.
This coming home, I mean, I know it's not going to be like the 2000 senior day against them where we beat them by 57, but it would be great if we did. Yeah, I don't think this one's going to be 114-57, but I would love it if it is.
Nice. God, that'd be nice.
That would be so much fun, especially considering that they're going to end up as the next best team in the Big Ten. So, I mean, the way they're playing doesn't scare me. I remember tonight's game. There were one point where there was like one guy had 3 turnovers in a row. Pretty bad.
Yeah.
That seems like their team's in that kind of funk, and it's not like that hasn't happened to us before, but. At the rate that we cause turnovers and the way our transition game's been working this year, I like our chances if we're able to do that.
Yeah, they got it to like 2 points at one point, and then they just turned the ball over 3 times in a row. It's like they forgot how to play. I think go ahead.
Our guys know how to take care of those situations this year when they haven't really in the past. We're much more athletic and running team this year than we have been the past couple of years. So
yeah, I would agree with that. And the way they're playing right now certainly doesn't match up well for the way. I almost see that they're trying to do what we do, get out and run. And it's just when you're sloppy, and we've seen it with MSU teams, you just turn the ball over like crazy.
Yeah.
If you're going to try and go fast, it can lead to a lot of turnovers. But Nikki, any thoughts before we kind of move on?
Breslin should be rocking. I'm sure.
Absolutely.
I know it's like the last day of spring break or whatever, but there'll be enough people to have it rocking.
Yeah, no question. Senior day. So who are we saying? Who are we sending off? Zapala,
Akins.
Yep.
Fiddler. Yeah.
Fiddler. Yeah. Good group.
Is Nick Sanders a senior?
I think he's a junior.
I feel like there's one more guy.
I'm pretty sure. Let's see. Zapala. Nick Sanders is a junior. Zapala, Fiddler, Akins. That's it.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah. Should be a good one. I always love when they kiss the floor. Hopefully, I would love to see. I hope they're winning by a lot when they do it to it. Like when they made the Ohio State coach cried after the game about
that's my one gripe with having like an actual like legitimate conference game as senior, playing another top 4 conference team rather than like a bottom feeder,
right?
Because then you kind of have a competitive game to play rather than just getting up by 20 and be like, okay, walk-ons go in, everybody kiss the Spartan head.
Right.
Who was that coach that Ohio
Holtman.
State?
Chris Holtman.
Chris Holtman.
I hate that
guy. What a loser, man. What a loser.
Respect the traditions, asshole.
I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
Come on. Have a little show some decorum, please.
We don't freak out when you dot the I on the football field.
Yeah. Seriously. Coming from them, like they call themselves the Ohio State. Like, chill out. Like, you're gonna give us shit about kissing the floor? Calling timeout so we get our seniors in? Give me a break. You guys want to do a little bracket science?
Oh yeah, let me get my glasses.
The science of brackets, otherwise known as bracketology. All right, so I've got ESPN, CBS, Fox, Sporting News, USA Today. Most of these are as up to date as yesterday, at least. Some of them are as of this morning. I'll start with Sporting News because theirs was like the least official. They just kind of listed out their seeds. So they had the 1 seeds: Auburn, Duke, Houston, Tennessee. 2 seeds is Florida, Alabama, Iowa State, and Michigan State. Not really much to dissect there because they didn't really show me a bracket or anything. So we can move on for that one pretty quickly. Going up to ESPN, this was as of yesterday. Joe Lunardi. He had MSU as a 2 seed in the West. The 1 seed in that bracket, or that region of the bracket, was Tennessee. We would be going up against Central Connecticut as the 15 seed, with the 7 and 10 matchup being Mississippi State and West Virginia. To me, that's a pretty favorable draw.
Yeah, I like that.
I mean, there's
possible second round matchup for the Battle of MSU again.
Yes, yep. There's no real threat in the 7 to 10 game, and your 1 seed is Tennessee, who I'm not going to sit here and tell you I've watched a ton of them, but it's not Duke or Auburn. So
they barely beat Illinois.
Yeah. I think that would be a pretty good draw for us there. He had the 1 seeds as Auburn, Tennessee, Duke, and Houston.
Florida just beat Alabama.
Yeah. So that's, and Florida is, there. And he had the other 2 seeds as Iowa State, MSU, Florida, and Alabama. So
Iowa State ended up winning that game last night.
I don't know.
Okay. They were in double overtime with BYU last I saw.
Oh wow.
So
dang. Then going over to CBS, Jerry Palm. This was as of this morning.
BYU
won. Wow. So that might hurt Iowa State, but in any event, CBS Sports, Jerry Palm, as of today, he had MSU as a 2 seed in the South. The 1 seed in that region was Auburn.
Woo! Oh, I think I saw this one because somebody quote tweeted it and said, "If this is your bracket, you've ruined entire March." So
we would be going up against Robert Morris in the first round, 15 seed. The 7-10 game in that would be St. Mary's as the 7, Indiana as the 10.
Okay,
setting up for a possible Indiana Michigan State second round game. Between Auburn and Indiana, I don't want any part of that draw.
Isn't St. John's in that too?
They might have been. I didn't look at the other ones.
I have to say, St. John's, Michigan State is a 100% guarantee that they will be in the same bracket. That is
they want that
matchup. That
if Michigan State gets a draw with either Vanderbilt or St. John's on their side of the bracket, you know that there's funny business going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I agree.
Oh,
they are itching for that. They're itching for the Izzo. What's his name?
Izzo Patino.
Yeah, Izzo Patino matchup. Okay, Fox Sports. Kind of. Okay. Also, the before I move on to Fox, CBS had the 1 seeds as Auburn, Tennessee, Houston, and Duke. The 2 seeds were MSU, Wisconsin, Florida, and Alabama. Moving on to Fox, Mike DeCourcy. I didn't see their bracket, so I just have the seeds.
Yeah, they don't put the bracket out really.
That's so annoying. I feel like last year they did. Auburn, Duke, Alabama, Houston as the 1 seeds, Tennessee, Florida, MSU, St. John's as the 2 seeds.
Okay.
That was as
in the same bracket there.
Yep. I did Sporting News, and then USA Today. I think this would probably be my. I don't know between the Indiana one, but this would be my least favorite draw. MSU 2 seed in the East region. Duke would be the 1 seed. We would play 15 seed Bryant in the first round. 7 would be Vanderbilt. 10 would be Baylor. You know what? Baylor, maybe not having their best year. I don't want any part of Scott Drew in March.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Yep.
No, thank you. And I really don't want. I really would like to avoid the Hogard MSU storyline if possible, because that's just a way. That's just a potential loss I don't want to deal with.
It's so lazy. Yeah.
That would make.
Oh,
that would be so horrible.
Could you imagine?
somehow learns to make a layup and a 3-pointer overnight.
Yeah, like Hogard goes off for like 30 or something.
Yeah, that's no.
Coach, I didn't smoke last night.
Yeah, somebody get that man some weed.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, that's. I don't want any part of that. And then Duke is the 1 seed, just to top it all off.
I'd rather Duke than Auburn personally.
Yeah. That 1 seeds were Duke, Auburn, Tennessee, Houston. 2 seeds MSU, Wisconsin, Bama, Florida. So I've pretty consistently Bama, Florida, MSU on the 2 seed line, with a mix of Wisconsin, Iowa State. So someone had St. John's. But the 1 seed seemed pretty consistent: Auburn, Tennessee, Duke, Houston across the board. I don't think anyone had Bama as a 1 seed anymore. Oh yeah, DeCourcy did and Fox, but probably after the loss tonight, not anymore. Yeah, but seems pretty likely that we're going to be a 2 seed. At this point, I don't see. Let's say they lost tomorrow, lost on Sunday, lost their first game of the Big Ten tournament. Maybe they drop down to a 3, but feel pretty good about being a 2 seed. Do you think there's an outside chance for a 1? If so, like what has to happen?
I think a lot has to go wrong.
The SEC's got to beat the shit out of itself.
Auburn has to win the SEC tournament and win out.
Yeah.
Obviously, like they need to just even more separate themselves.
And they need like Kentucky or somebody to make a run in knock off one of those 2 seeds.
Yeah, there's just not enough games left for people to lose at this point.
Yeah.
And I think we need to get to the semifinals of the Big Ten, which is really just 1 win. But
yeah, it's just so hard for me to think if MSU, let's say they win the next 2 games, and then if they won the Big Ten tournament, that's what, 3 more wins?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they've won 5 straight. That would be 5 straight. That'd be 10 straight games. We would be 29-5, Big Ten champions, Big Ten tournament champions. How do you not put Michigan State on the 1 line at that point? Like, you're really going to tell me Tennessee has a better resume and record or season than we do?
The whole SEC thing is crazy.
People think the SEC
get into that. I'm glad you said that because it's really grinding my gears.
Somebody called it the best conference ever the other night. I was like, what the hell?
I mean, please, come on.
They have Oklahoma is like in the play-in game, and they've won like 4 games in conference play.
Yeah, they're 4-12 in conference play.
That's crazy.
They're in 14th place out of 16 teams.
Yeah, you know what it's setting up for though is the SEC to get in like a ton of teams and then have like 2 teams in the Sweet 16.
That's happened over the past 5 years.
Yeah,
they do have a bunch of top 25 ranked teams, but it's like they're giving so many of their unranked teams a huge benefit of the doubt.
Yeah,
and it's ridiculous. I mean,
yeah, and, you know, the thing for me is even if we get the 1 seed, like whatever team that drops out of that, they're just the 2 seed in our region probably.
In our bracket,
like it's just going to be, honestly, at this point, like I've always said, I mean, at some point they're going to beat a team that's equal or better than them if they're going to make a run.
Right. At that point, you're basically saying, you know, you're in the bracket, whether you're the 1 or the 2, you're either going to have to prove that you should have been the 1 by beating the 1, or you prove that you did earn the 1 by beating the 2.
Yeah. Yeah. The seeding to me, I think this year especially, besides Auburn and Duke, the difference between the remaining 1 seeds and the 2 seeds, I think, is very small. I always feel like there's more pressure as a 1 seed. As long as we can avoid Auburn and Duke in some of those silly draws in the 7-10 game, I'm fine with being a 2 seed. I really am.
Yeah, I mean, there are some stressful games. There is nothing more stressful than being like tied at halftime as a number 1 team against a 16 team.
Right. Yeah.
Like that is just like, holy shit, we suck.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Yeah. It's like no matter how you shake it. I mean, MSU is going to be. Oh, goodbye, Nikki. MSU is going to be in a fine spot. Just have to cross the fingers to avoid Auburn or Duke, because I really don't think Tennessee, Houston, Alabama, if they end up being the 1 seed somehow, Florida, I don't think that there's a huge difference between us and them. And I know they don't have 10 players that could all contribute.
Yeah, I mean, if Texas A&M beat Auburn, I think we can beat Auburn. Honestly,
I agree with that. I agree.
That they might be better than us on paper, or might actually be better than us, but it doesn't mean they're going to win every time we play them.
Yeah. The only thing is, I will say, just like the Izzo Patino matchup, I do think that they would love an Izzo Bruce Pearl
would be
I think
fantastic.
That would be much more enjoyable to me than a Izzo Patino matchup. But I feel like they're gonna try and get that, whether it's for a chance to go to the Final Four or whatever. I feel like they're gonna try and set that up for TV, which is silly.
Yeah,
but
I mean, we beat Bruce Pearl on the way to the 2010 Final Four, I think, when he was with Tennessee.
Yeah.
So that would be an interesting one. Izzo Buzz Williams, if A&M came up too, would be interesting too.
Yeah. Hamburg has informed us that he's lost power, so we will see.
Yeah, that's been going on around here. Yeah,
has
there
it?
There were some pretty bad storms here yesterday.
Okay.
So yeah, that happens.
Yeah. So I think that pretty much does it for the bracket science. I think MSU's in a good spot. I mean, they don't have. Yeah. There's really no pressure at this point you don't have to go to the Big Ten tournament and make a deep run. Would you rather? This is always the rest versus rust question. Would you rather just keep winning, or would you say, hey, if we lose our first game of the Big Ten tournament, get some rest before the first round, or just keep winning?
I see the benefit of that second one, but I have always been a just keep winning as long as you can kind of guy.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. You see it so many times.
Yeah.
I know it's not the same sport or even at the same level, but the year the Tigers made the World Series, 2012, when they swept the I think it was the Yankees. They had a long time off between the ALCS and the World Series.
They did that in 06 too.
06 too. Yeah. And they just got their ass kicked in both series.
Yeah.
And that's always what scares me about the time off. The Lions get in the bye week this year.
Yeah.
Even though they needed a big lead, they didn't come to play.
Yeah.
So.
I think, to me, there's a big difference between that coming in the regular season, we lost because we needed to lose, than at the end of the season, or going into a playoffs or going into a postseason play.
Yeah. I think you just want to keep the momentum going, especially in college basketball. Yeah.
Yeah. You don't want to leave any doubt out there. You want to keep that confidence growing and keep everything meshing together. Because
I'm with you.
As soon as get a little philosophical here, you get that little seed of doubt planted in there, and it just starts to grow and grow.
Great point. That's a great point. We do not need any of that. And this team shouldn't have any, honestly. 2 or 3 weeks ago, I was coming off the Indiana loss. I was really worried. I was like, this doesn't look like a team that's going to make a run. And they have just totally done a 180. I really think I'm not as bought in as Nikki is, but it's more of a cautiously watching out for my own watching out for my own feelings cautiously. But man, I mean, it's hard not to feel really good about where this team's at.
Yeah. I feel good. I am always I will feel better once I see the draw type of person.
Yeah.
It's all these projections, I'm going through writing all these bracketology articles and stuff.
Yeah.
For all these different conferences and stuff. And I'm like,
yeah.
Okay, I don't love what I'm looking at here, but
it's some of the draws that they have for us I really like. Like the one with Tennessee as the 1 seed, where we play Central Connecticut and then Mississippi State or West Virginia.
I like that.
That's great. That's preferable. But then this one with Vanderbilt, Baylor as a 7-10 with Duke as the one, as long as we can avoid Auburn and Duke, but I don't know. I just feel like that when you're Michigan State, they're going to put you with the big dogs if they can.
Yeah.
Well,
because they know that if you're legit, you're going to prove it because that's the way it is always.
And just historically, like obviously there has been years where we've gotten good draws. But like historically, I feel like we never really get a really favorable draw.
I'm back, baby.
Yeah.
There he is.
There you go.
That was a quick on and off.
Yeah, it was a quick brown out.
Brown out.
I don't think you missed much. We kind of finished up the bracket stuff. The one question was, would you rather keep winning into the tournament or lose like first or second round of the Big Ten and have a couple days off?
Like, I'd probably just would rather keep winning.
That's what we both said. Yeah. I think college basketball, especially, like those teams just get hot, and Travis made a great said it best. Like you don't want any seeds of doubt heading into the tournament. You just keep winning. Like think of all the teams like the UConn team that beat us in 2013. They were just so hot.
They read it. It's a momentum game when you get to March.
Exactly,
momentum and preparation, and they rode Shabazz Napier momentum all the way to a championship.
Yeah, exactly.
And we also only have 3 games. Like it's not like we're
and
if we
3 games in 3 days. That's always tough. Especially, I just get a little weary when it's like, okay, you've played 6 of your last 7 games have been against ranked opponents. Like that takes a lot of mental effort and physical effort. And it's just like at some point you just don't worry about some of these guys just hitting a wall. But I think they've proven to us that we shouldn't worry about that.
Yeah. There's been some mini walls, I will say, but nothing too concerning.
Yeah, certainly not in the last couple of weeks.
I mean, every team has slight walls. I mean, Auburn just lost last night.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah.
Speaking of which, this is something that I don't know if you guys saw that. Like, obviously, A&M won the game, but it was their senior night. But they retired one of their players' jerseys after the game, like immediately after his home career was over. Is that like something
I've never seen that before.
Is that something we're okay with? Like, I don't know what to think.
Like if we retired Jace Richardson's number on Sunday, basically.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Maybe if it was like Cassius senior year, but still no.
I mean, yeah.
Like you're still playing.
So
like you
strange
still are playing.
me.
Like you're still playing the game.
Yeah,
it was so strange to me.
Yeah, that is strange. Yeah, I saw that the ending of the game was weird. They didn't shake hands, and Buzz Williams was like telling everyone to I think he was trying to stop people from rushing the court, but that whole situation.
That's another thing. Like they hadn't ever beaten the number 1 team ever, so I can see rushing the court from that. But if you're a top 25 team and you beat another ranked team, I don't see a reason to rush the court. It's a little different at number 1, but yeah,
I totally agree. Yeah, if they ever rushed the court at Brunson Center, something obviously went really wrong.
Yeah, I mean, the only time I remember it happening was, I think it was like Drew Neitzel years. We were unranked and Wisconsin was number 2.
Yeah, that's fair.
We weren't Michigan State. Yeah, that was 2005. We were still like 4 Final Fours in the past.
Yeah, I think that year we barely scrapped our way to like an 8 or 9 seed.
Been there before.
So
yeah, hey, last couple of years.
If it was an undefeated season, I wouldn't mind a court storm for that. Like we went 30-0 or whatever.
Yeah.
Because those don't happen enough.
Yeah, that was like never happened.
Well, Indiana went undefeated in the 70s, but yeah.
Hey, that was 50 years ago.
I know. It's not never.
It was a long time ago.
It's not never.
Izzo ties Bob Knight for the most Big Ten championships. Another record.
Nice.
That's right.
Pretty impressive.
Show him whose boss is.
That's right. The real general. You guys want to make I guess I don't want to do predictions. I want to see the draw first.
Yeah,
but the confidence meter I think is pretty high. Mine comes with a heavy side of caution, just because I don't want my feelings to be hurt. But in the end, they're probably going to be hurt regardless. So might as well just get excited. But I think Nikki, you were pretty confident from the text you were sending yesterday.
Yeah, I'm national title pilled. I'm pretty close to declaring us the national champion.
I love it. I love
Nick
it. I mean,
all the
right
MSU stock on the market.
You were right about the Big Ten championship, and you called that early too. That wasn't like a couple weeks ago. That was like mid-January.
I probably shouldn't have called it that early. That was pretty
That was right before a little skid, I think. Yeah.
It was. Oh man. Okay, so I want to wrap up the show with doing predictions for the Iowa game tomorrow and the Michigan game Sunday. But to take a quick break from basketball, lots of buzz in the MSU Twitter world today. Michigan State moved their final game of the Big Ten football season, or I should say the regular season, to Ford Field Saturday, November 29th. Most Michigan State fans know that they did this a couple years ago versus Penn State. A lot of debate back and forth. I think we're kind of all on the same page. Where do you guys stand on this? I think I have an idea, but I don't know for sure. There's a lot of non-Michigan State people are like, oh, this is small time, blah, blah, blah. I think it's low-hanging fruit. Just take a shot at Michigan State, but I wanted to get your thoughts. Travis, I'll start with you.
Yeah, I kind of go back and forth on it. I like giving the guys a chance to play in an NFL stadium and NFL, atmosphere and that kind of thing. And having never been to it, I never been to the MSU game at Ford Field. I can't really speak from experience or whatever. You two have both had glowing things to say about the experience when they did against Penn State, even though we got absolutely annihilated in that one.
Yeah.
So if they can pull that off and every year that way, that's great. I would rather, if it's gonna be something like that, I would rather it be obviously we got to work our way back up to this point, but I would rather see a more meaningful game there than Maryland. Because maybe obviously not like a Michigan or Ohio State or a Penn State, even though it's probably going to happen again. But I would rather see a bigger opponent than Maryland at one of those games.
Yeah, I just think with it being the last game of the year, you don't want to waste a game in the middle of the year when the students are on campus.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what my next thing was going to be, was that it is Thanksgiving, nobody's on campus, and it's Michigan. It's not great weather at that point,
right.
So It's a nice backup or nice secondary atmosphere to have, especially with all the Spartans in Detroit.
Yeah. Nikki, anything?
Yeah, this could be a while. So
I have some things to say as well.
Go.
So yeah, first off, the last one was awesome. It was
awesome.
Like I didn't think, I thought I wasn't be like we were gonna be the only people there. Like every single bar in Detroit, you could not stand because it was just so packed with Michigan State fans, green and white.
Yep.
The stadium was packed, and this team sucked.
They had no chance of winning that game.
We had a fired coach, literally a fired interim coach we weren't even playing for a bowl game. We sucked.
Yeah.
And it was so much fun. And everybody there had a great time. Yeah. I only can imagine how it would be if we have a pulse.
Yeah.
First of all, people are saying we're giving up a home game. We're not giving up a home game.
This is my
if it was like October against Ohio State or whatever, or anyone really. But again, like we were saying, it's not a home game. Like Maryland isn't filling their stadium in September. They're not all holding out to go to Detroit the last game of the year for Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Penn State might have a little bit bigger, but even then, like, they were a great Penn State team. There were like 10 Penn State fans there.
Yeah.
The people who are saying it's small time, whatever, like, that's just rivalry talk.
Yeah.
I don't really care. That's rivalry talk, and people who are really insecure about Michigan State.
Yeah.
Like, newsflash, we suck.
Yeah.
And like, that really, I'd rather have fun and go, like, and be comfortable and have that there. Like, the whole small time thing, oh my God, I can't believe a team would do that. First, like, we're going to fill a stadium in a different city. That's the opposite of small time.
Right.
People are saying, oh, like, no school does this. Like, okay, Miami plays every single game in an NFL stadium.
Yeah.
Like, Florida and Georgia play in Jacksonville, Texas and Oklahoma play in Dallas. And they say, those are big time rivalry games. Those are traditions. That's different. I would be storming the NCAA Capitol if Michigan State was playing in Ford Field.
Totally agree. Absolutely.
Like, I think that is way more despicable, playing your biggest rivalry game at a neutral field than a who cares
agree
great game.
Yeah.
Like,
totally
being able to build an NFL stadium in a different city is pretty good. And also, this is one difference between Mark Hollis and Alan Heller that I do think Alan Heller could get better at. You just call it like the Spartan Classic, and suddenly, like, it is a thing,
right?
Like, get the groundskeeper at Ford Field to paint the Spartan logo in the middle of the stadium. You can't say you can't do that. You can obviously do that. Like, do it for that day. Like, make it feel like a home game. Call it the Spartan Classic or Spartans Unreal, something stupid. Like, make a trophy. Like, make it a trophy.
Yeah.
Make it like people say, oh, well, that would just be stupid. You're making a tradition out of nowhere. We literally play Indiana for a bucket of dip spit. Like, and they start out.
Good point. You got a solid point. Yeah, totally agree. Also, like, a Michigan college football team making a connection with the city of Detroit, not the worst thing in the world, honestly. Nick, I think, like, you couldn't have said it better. Like, that Penn State game, the city of Detroit was green. It was just all green, and that place was rocking. It was loud. It was crowded. And we had no chance at winning that game. So, like you said, if we have a pulse, people are going to show whether we have a pulse or not. And to anyone that would say we're losing a home game, those people are clueless assholes. Because if they play Maryland November 29th, the Saturday after Thanksgiving, that is such a crapshoot. And who's going to show up? Like, if we're undefeated 11-0 playing them, okay, people are going to show up. But, if Michigan State's 7-4, no one's going to that game. It's outside. It's bad weather because it's Thanksgiving. So moving it to Detroit actually is a better advantage for Michigan State. There will be more fans at that game than there would be in East Lansing. So for anyone that says we're losing a home game, yes, literally we are not playing in East Lansing. You're correct. But the atmosphere will be better in downtown Detroit on November 29th than it would be in East Lansing.
Also,
having said all that, it's honestly, if you watched the Penn State game last year and when nobody was there, you should realize that this is not a bad thing at all. And anyone that's criticizing it or trying to take shots at it is just, honestly, they're dumb, and like I said, they're a clueless asshole. It's ridiculous. It really is. And honestly, I had so much fun at that Penn State game, and it was like every bar was fucking packed. It felt like I was in East Lansing because literally every bar up and down the streets was packed. So people need to wake up. I get it. College football games are better played on college campuses. I totally agree. But there are certain things that are just, honestly, common sense. Like, you don't want to play a game in front of no one in bad weather, so just move it. And it's like you guys said, if it was a Michigan game, Ohio State game, in the middle of October, I would be rioting. I would have none of it. I would be so pissed. But, like, to say the last game of the season for a team that if they go 8-4 would be a great year. Like, just relax, honestly. And honestly, I think Michigan State fans, for the most part, are on our side, especially if you live in the Metro Detroit area. it honestly makes it a lot easier to go to the game. You get an Uber, you go home.
The people who are like,
you don't have to get a hotel for
like a person in Oklahoma is going to turn on the TV and be like, Michigan State's playing at Ford Field.
Yeah,
they probably don't even know. They don't even know what Spartan Stadium looks like.
Right. Yeah. You know, the most vocal people about this are people that went to Central Michigan or like Western that root for Michigan.
Yeah. Or like people who just want to be mad at Alan Haller because we didn't hire Urban Meyer. Or like,
yeah. Honestly, give me a fucking break, please. Anything else on that?
Oh yeah, one other thing. If let's say if Michigan was playing a game in Detroit, it would be like University of Michigan saves Detroit, brings football back to Detroit.
Oh yeah,
it would.
They expand their reach and they sell out an NFL stadium. And people would be giving them passing back you're doing so much for the city.
Yeah. we really should be criticizing Michigan for allowing a concert to be played at the Big House, the hallowed grounds that's never had a concert before. What, you're gonna do it now? Screw that. That's so lame. Only football should be played there. We should be criticizing them for allowing that. I'm onto something here. I think I'm going to work on Twitter tonight. Putting my hard hat on. Trolling Willie.
Another thing.
You want to see my degree? Where's yours from? I'll send you a picture right now. Okay. Thursday night, Thursday night, I should say, Des Moines, Iowa. I think that's where they are. Is it Des Moines or Iowa City? Where Iowa's located?
Iowa City is where Iowa
City.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, of course.
Iowa City. A chance to clinch a solo Big Ten championship. Michigan State Spartans travel to take on the Iowa Hawkeyes. Michigan State favored by 7.5. Travis, I'll start with you. I'll take a score. Prediction and score, I guess.
Spartans win. I'm gonna go 80-63.
Nice. I'm gonna go 78-69 Spartans. Iowa has a late surge of threes. They got on.
Okay. Oh, don't you bring that in here.
We will be scared at one point with 5 minutes left.
Whoa. Okay. Let's see. I think Iowa is going to score their points. We'll give Iowa 75, Michigan State 84. Yeah, I like that. All of us have MSU covering and winning. Winning, obviously. All right, Sunday. The assholes from Ann Arbor travel to East Lansing on senior day with their tail between their legs, losing 2 of their last 2 games. I don't know what the spread is, obviously. I'm assuming Michigan State will be favored. Travis, give me your prediction.
I'm going to go 78-65 Spartans.
The assholes in Ann Arbor. You know what? I'm going to go.
Here we go.
94-70.
Wow.
The boys. The dog.
I was going to say I do feel like a late onslaught, kind of like the Cassius Winston game where Juwan Howard had to literally run on the court and get a technical to stop us from hitting a 3, where we're just blowing them out of the gym. I'll go 88-69 Spartans. And there you have it. That'll do it for the 56th episode of the Spartan Savants podcast. Shout out to College Huddle. We appreciate everything they do and what they're putting together. You can find us, Spartan Savants, wherever you get your podcast. Subscribe on YouTube. As always, at this point, you probably know the drill. What a year, and hopefully there's more to come. But Big Ten champs, we're back. Our stardom is confirmed. Our birthright has been accomplished yet again. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. whatever other cliche thing you can think to say, the Spartans are back on top, and man, does it feel good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We're back, baby. All the way back.
Yes, sir. And maybe we'll get recording before next Wednesday. Maybe we've been talking a little bit, trying to close a little closer to the game. So we may see you guys sooner. But until then, for Nikki and Trav and myself, go green.
Go white.
Go white.